Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about the CRAAP method and what it means and how I used it to evaluate some different websites for this assignment. So the CRAAP method is a great way to evaluate websites. Before this lesson, I always felt like I was doing a good job finding information and finding good information, but then after taking this same criteria from the CRAAP method and checking behind myself, I now know that I was not being as thorough as I needed to be. Using this method really forces you to take a closer look at websites and then to dig even deeper. So not only are you looking at the websites, but you also have to do some lateral reading. You have to research the sources. You also have to just look at the author and look at all the different components that make up the website in order to verify that it is a good website. So now I know that that's the thing that I was not doing that I needed to be better about. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what the 5 letters in CRAAP stand for and then why I feel like they're important. So the first part is to check for currency. Is it up to date? Is it current? It's very important when you're doing research to have recent articles and making sure that the articles that are using studies that were recent as well. I think it's especially important in education because education changes so often, and we just, if you're using a source that's 10 or 12 years old, there's a good chance that it's not going to be up to date anymore. It's also important that the source is relevant. If an article has a lot of great information and you spend a lot of time reading it, but then it doesn't align to what you're researching, then the information is really not going to be helpful to you. Another important factor is to check the authority of the source. So many times writers can write about a topic, but then they don't actually have the expertise or the credentials to back it up. So it's important to make sure the person you're reading is a trusted source. In addition to this, accuracy is essential. I've read many things on the internet that they sound great, but then after digging deeper, I find that the information was really not accurate. As a teacher, I always tell my students that just because they read it on the internet, that does not make it true. So as an educator, I should also take listen to my own advice. Lastly, the purpose behind the website is important to know. I've found that over the years, many sites that looked to be good and full of good information were actually, when you got through all the information, it was really just pushing an agenda or they were trying to sell a product. As a 5th grade teacher, I focus on teaching my students the importance of finding sources that are trustworthy, and I also teach them the value of using multiple sources to back up their findings. So after spending time practicing this method, I plan to incorporate it into my own teaching. I can use it on a personal level when I'm looking for new information, and I can also teach it to my students and hope that they will become better researchers. While completing this assignment, I was surprised to see how far I had to dig through Google to really find good and valuable information. So many of the websites that I thought looked good, but then after I took a closer look, I was able to see that either the author really had no experience in teaching or the publications were from so long ago that the information was probably not up to date anymore. I was also surprised to see that many people discuss popular strategies for teaching reading, but didn't bother to include any research or support to back up what they were saying. So I think using this method will help me to be more aware of the sources I use in the future and help me to be a better educator as well. Thank you.